Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be checking out the premium Bandai HG Gundam Lfrith pre-production model. So we're going all the way back to the very beginning of the Witch from Mercury line here with this variation of the original Gundam Lfrith, which is still one of my favorites of the entire line for the pre-production model here, which does have a new color scheme and some new parts in there, and most notably that new backpack, which looks really cool. Let's go ahead and check it out for today's video. All right, so checking out the box art here first, we've got some typical P-Bandai style artwork where it's just monochrome blue here, but you can see a couple of photos of the built and painted kit there and some cool posing around on the sides of the box, just kind of the same thing there. Not really too much to see, as we typically don't even have this, but here you can see we do have front and back images of the built and painted kit, but again, they're just kind of there, monochrome, not very clear to see anyway. So let's go ahead and pop the box, and the instruction manual, if that's going to be in color, is also a question mark, but here, as you can see, it looks like we have a very nice full color manual here as well, without any artwork. Well, there it is. There's our illustration of the Gundam right there, and then the color guide, as per usual, for this line is down the side there of the back of the manual. Then just going back around here to the front, really cool image there of the built and painted kit, as we've seen from the box art. We have some text down here in Japanese and in English there, and then around on the back side, the rest of the images here are going to be some examples of some of the weaponry. We have a beam rifle, and we have the Chelonian, which are explosive gun bits stored in the large launcher attached to the back. There's also a little bit here about the shell unit, and then of course you can use the Witch from Mercury display base, which is sold separately to actually have those gun bits out like that, and unfortunately it does not include that. That said, on the inside of the manual here, we've got the parts list there in full color and the beginning of the construction in full color here as well. The inside is just going to be there in black and white for the rest of the construction, all the way through the backpack and weaponry, and just how to mount the parts onto the display stand, and that's about it for the instruction manual. We do also have some stickers included here. It looks like a bunch of little ones probably there for the gun bits, eye stickers, camera stickers, the stickers there for the shell unit there as well. And with that, we can get into the runners, as the first few runners are going to be just from the original Lfrith kit. Like I said, we've got some dark clear parts up there, some off-white, a green part over here on this side, that clear blue effect part right there. Runner B1 here in this dark navy blue is going to be our Witch from Mercury frame 1 runner here for the joints and frame parts. Runner C, which would have also been white with the original kit, is now here in this very nice blue color, a very reminiscent color scheme to the Rizal kind of. And here we got runner D as well, which does feature some of the signature parts from the original Lfrith there, as you can see, which we're obviously not going to be using, so we will have some leftover parts of course, but it looks like you maybe would have the option to build some of this as the original Lfrith, possibly. We'll look into that. Then runners F and G are going to be the new runners for this kit. So runner F, here we have runner F1 and F2, F2 being a copy of this section of the runner there, and this is going to be some more parts in that nice blue color. Looks like mostly parts for the backpack, and then some new parts for the head there as well. And then runner G is a bunch more parts in that dark navy blue, including the new beam rifle parts, a couple of more white parts up there, a new yellow part over here for the chest vents, and that's it for all of the runners. Let's go ahead and check out the kit. All right, and here is the kit all built up. Really simple build, of course, especially if you've built the original Lfrith kit before. It should be pretty familiar for you guys for the most part. Obviously, the backpack is where the majority of the new parts are, and the backpack actually was, I don't want to say a challenging part to build, but definitely more complicated than the rest of the kit when it came to building that. Just make sure that you follow the instructions carefully, because there's certain parts that need to go a certain way and everything just like that to make the backpack doors work and all that. But we've got some great new parts here, a really cool design. I love the color scheme as well. And aside from the backpack, we do have that cool new beam rifle. So let's go ahead and get into it here, starting off with the included accessories. And first of all, you guys will notice that I have it on a stand at the moment, just because the backpack is going to be quite weighty. You could probably get it to stand depending on the pose without the use of a stand, but I would highly recommend picking up a stand for this, because not only is it going to be useful for holding up the Gundam itself, but for some of the accessories, which we'll talk a little bit more about here in a second. But I want to talk briefly about the leftover parts. We don't have a ton of them. This is basically it. The effect part, unfortunately, we can't use. There's not really going to be any use for that. And then we just have the original chest armor pieces there, and the original armor pieces for the top and bottom of the original head. So I believe you would be able to make the original head based on just these couple extra parts. You just basically have all the same inside parts, I believe. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but if you wanted to, for whatever reason, make the original head. And I think there is definitely a good reason to want to do that, and again, I'll come back to that in a little bit, but definitely keep these parts in case you might decide you might want to use them. Other than that, as far as hand option parts go, these holding hands are all that we're going to have included with this one, unfortunately. We do have the new beam rifle, which is just 2 parts sandwiched together there, and the seam line is just made up as a detail panel line, so you don't really need to worry about that, which is nice. You do have a couple of stickers, one on the top, a larger one, and then a smaller one there at the bottom as well. Those metallic green stickers for the cameras on that. So just going to fit right down and into the hand. Very simple. And yeah, the original beam effect part here for the beam rifle, like I said, will not work with this whatsoever, but it would have been cool if we would have had a new beam effect part for this rifle, although I'm not sure if in the story if this mobile suit has the ability to have some sort of beam effect out of the rifle. I would assume so, but that would have been a cool inclusion. Other than that, all that we have here is these 6 active gun bits if you wanted to have these on display. And you have the option of using either green or red stickers for these. I just went with red because that's, as I understand, probably the correct color for when they're active like that, but you can choose between whichever color that you want. And that's it for the accessories, but just to talk a little bit more about the stickers themselves. For the head, you have stickers for the eyes and the head camera here as well, but you have an actual green part for that, so I opted not to use the stickers just so you guys can see how that green part is going to look. I did use the sticker for the camera on the back side of the head, as the green part does not cover that. That's just a molded detail in there, so I opted to use the sticker. We also, just like with the original kit, have a couple of white stickers that go for these white details on the sides of this armor piece there at the knee. And then for under the shell unit, you have the option of using just that plain black sticker or the active sticker, which is what I used here. And you can see underneath the clear part, that does give you some nice detail right there. And as for all these other little green stickers, those of course are gonna go on the gun bits, which are here in the backpack, which the backpack doesn't have like a real easy way to open that up, but those are right there. And the stickers are like slightly too large for this. They unfortunately don't fit in there super well, pretty well. And as you can see, like as well as you guys can see them on camera, they probably look fine, but those stickers I think should have been slightly smaller to fit in that molded detail a little bit better. These aren't easy to pop out of here, so you might want to use some tweezers or something, or if you have smaller fingers, it might be easier for you. But for me and my big fingers, it's hard to get them out, but these are meant to come out, and you can use these on the FX stand as well. So you can just plug those onto there and you can have them mounted on your Witch from Mercury effect stand. You'll notice that they're different. So the way that these are going to plug onto your effect stand parts is going to be a little bit different. You'll have to use different pieces for those, whether you want to have like the activated or inactivated gun bits on display. But yeah, the backpack is really cool. I do really like it. Like I said, it is pretty heavy, so it is going to weigh the kit back. Just keep that in mind, but that opens both, of course, the front and the back side. If I can just pull this off of there, it might be a little bit easier to show you guys. So the doors open like that on both sides, and you can have this rotated down like this, or kind of normally how they're shown when deployed. These are rotated up like that with the doors open and everything. As far as the other new parts, I mean, like I said, the new parts for the chest look nice. That yellow is not my preferred shade of yellow. I say I normally like a little bit more kind of orangish yellow. It's just a color preference. But the new parts for the head also look really nice. And what I was alluding to earlier about the design of the head is simply that everything about this design still says Gundam to me, except for the head not having any sort of V-fin or anything. It does kind of feel like it's more of like a grunt style head. Normally it's grunts that we see without any kind of V-fin or anything on them, right? So it looks a bit odd, I think, to me to have like a Gundam looking design with a grunt kind of looking head, sort of. So, I mean, if you're feeling like that as well, then you might want to build the head as the original head. I think that you might find that suits the design a little bit better. Just kind of depends on how you want your kit to look. And as for how you might want to make the kit look, I'll just again reiterate that this is definitely a kit that's going to benefit from having a stand. Now, as I'm using this just to display a couple of different poses here to wrap up the review, I'm just using a regular action base, but definitely the Witch from Mercury display stand is going to be the way to go, especially if you want to have the gun bits deployed, because it's going to give you more of those display arms and stuff in there. So as I've said, I think in a number of these reviews, if you guys are fans of the HG Witch from Mercury line, I would just highly recommend getting at least one, if not two or three of the HG Witch Mercury display stands, because there's a lot of different kits in the line that use those stands, and unfortunately none of the kits really come with those stands included. So it's just something to have for displaying your kits. I would recommend picking up a couple of those. Anyway, really awesome kit here. Like I said, most of it's pretty familiar to the original Lfrith, so it's not necessarily going to be an overwhelmingly new build build, but the parts that are new are quite interesting. Obviously, the couple of parts for the head and chest that are new, the weapon is new. Those are going to be pretty simple, but the backpack was an interesting build just because of the way that those parts go together. But overall, the kit looks great. Like I said before, too, the original Lfrith it's still one of my favorites from the line. Just one of the reasons is because of the color scheme with the pink accents and the white mobile suit is a really cool design, and this one is a really cool color scheme as well. So a very enjoyable build and a nice finished product here. Again, another nice thing about this line in general has been that these kits are designed in a way that would also make them quite easy to paint. So if you guys are beginners or just looking for a kit that should be a little bit more easier to paint, more beginner friendly, I guess, these kits are great for that as well. Obviously, with this being a premium Bandai release, that is going to make it a little bit more limited in terms of its accessibility, availability for you guys, for some of you guys, depending on where you live. But if you can get your hands on this one, if you're a fan of the design, I could definitely recommend it for you guys. It's an awesome build. If you've not built the original Gundam Lfrith, I would definitely recommend checking out that one as well. So that's going to do it for today's review, guys. Thank you so much. If you guys want to check out some more HG Witch from Mercury model kits, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got a bunch, obviously not the P-Bandai ones, but all the standard release ones. You can check those out there on the website. And if you guys wouldn't mind leaving a like while you're here, making sure that you're subscribed, really appreciate all your guys' support. Thank you so much. Until next time, hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.